If the last video made sense, there's usually a second reaction that follows. I agree content matters, but every time I've tried it, it eventually fell apart. That's not a motivation problem, and it's not because you didn't care enough. It's because most content efforts fail by design. Here's what typically happens. You start strong. You post consistently for a few weeks, maybe even a few months, then real work takes over. Decisions pile up, questions creep in. What should I post next? Is this even working? Does any of this actually matter? And without realizing it, content fades into the background. Not because you're lazy, but because the process demands too much attention from someone whose job isn't content. Most advice makes this worse. You're told to post more, be everywhere, film constantly, document everything. That advice works for creators, but businesses aren't built by creators. They're built by operators, and operators don't have time for a second job. So you either burn out, outsource piecemeal, and lose your voice, or stop altogether. That cycle is the real problem. Here's the core issue most people miss. Consistency doesn't come from discipline. It comes from structure. When content relies on memory, motivation, or spare time, it will always lose to the business. That's why content feels heavy. It's competing with your role instead of supporting it. That's why we didn't build a content service. We built a system. A real system does three things. It removes unnecessary decisions, creates a predictable rhythm, and produces consistent output without constant management. The video content engine takes what's already in your head, your experience, perspective, and leadership, and turns it into consistent, credible content without asking you to become a creator. If you're still figuring out what to say every time you record, you don't have a system, you have a task. This is where most businesses get stuck. They try harder, hire another freelancer, or buy another package, and each time the result is the same: short bursts of activity followed by silence. Not because the people involved weren't talented, but because there was no system holding it together. At that point, content doesn't just stop, trust erodes, and the business quietly disappears from the buyer's shortlist. This isn't for people who want to chase trends, post daily, or build a personal brand for its own sake. This is for owners and leaders who want their business to feel active, their leadership to be visible, and their content to support growth, not distract from it. If you don't want to manage content, but still want the benefits of showing up consistently, this was built for you. One important thing to understand: this system isn't something you just sign up for blindly. It only works if it fits how your business actually operates, your role, your capacity, your goals. That's why we start with a conversation to see if it makes sense before we talk about moving forward. In the next video, we'll walk through what the video content engine actually looks like in practice, how it runs, what we handle, and what we need from you. But here's the key takeaway for now. Content shouldn't feel like another responsibility. It should feel like leverage. If content has felt inconsistent or overwhelming in the past, that wasn't a failure on your part. You just didn't have a system yet. And that's exactly what we'll walk you through next.